I put butter in mine instead of shortening. It's, you can use both or whatever, but this recipe calls for butter. I've got 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and then I got 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 of baking soda. And we'll put it in there, and we're going to sift it. And then I got 7 tablespoons of grated frozen butter. I froze my butter, the stick of butter, and I grated it. It's a lot easier. After I grated it, I put it back in the freezer for 5 minutes to keep it cold. You want the butter real cold. I'm gonna put it in here. Just gonna mix it around very lightly because you don't want that butter to melt. Now I've got my flour and butter mixed together. I'm going to cut it in with a fork, or you can use a pastry blender, but I don't have one of them, I don't think, so I'm going to use my fork. And you just cut it in till little marbles. I've got about a 1/2 cup of flour that I'm going to use to put on my mat and to dip my cutter in, my biscuit cutter. Okay, that should be good. See how little pebbles they look like? I got 3/4 cup of buttermilk that I'm going to pour in the middle, and then I'm going to fold it in. I'm not going to pour the whole thing in yet. It's still a little sticky. That's good. Put a little bit of flour. I'm gonna put flour on my hands. So they won't stick. Okay, I'm going to make a rectangle, flat. Then we'll take it and I'm going to fold it. We're going to fold in all that butter. We're going to twist it around. Need to put a little flour on my board. Okay, we're going to flatten it out again. Rectangle. I'm going to fold it again. That's going to make layers and layers of that butter. So it'll be flaky. And I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to do it about 3 times. Fold it over again. If it gets sticky to your hands, just put a little bit of flour on your hands. We're going to flatten it out to about 1/2 inch, I guess. I've got a pan here. I sprayed a little bit with spray. A little bit bigger than I want. I'm going to lay them out. Put our dough back. Okay. I'm going to take this little bit. Just roll it. Make a little one. Got my oven preheated at 425. We're going to cook them for 13 to 15 minutes until they're lightly golden brown. I've got the biscuits out of the oven. It took about 15 minutes and they're nice and golden brown, and I put some butter, melted butter on top when they came out, and don't they look wonderful? They got a nice little crunch on the top. Let's see how they look. Ooh-wee. Don't that look wonderful? Oh, it's nice and moist with a little crunch on the top. Let's try it. Light, fluffy. You can taste that butter. Oh my word. That's a good biscuit. It is a good biscuit. So I hope you make you a batch of buttermilk biscuit. Hey folks, welcome to Aunt Sandy's Kitchen. Today we are going to be making homemade sausage gravy. I've already got my sausage cooking. It's almost done. Let's turn it down here. This is 1 pound of breakfast sausage. This is 1/4 of flour. And I'm gonna mix. Get that flour cooked in there a little bit. When you're making sausage gravy, you don't drain it because you need that grease to make your roux. So we're just mixing that flour in there and let it cook a little bit. Now I want to add the milk. A little bit at a time. I'm going to let it come up to a boil. And put the salt. Put plenty of pepper in it. We're going to let it come up to boil and it'll start thickening as it cooks. Just keep stirring. See, it's getting thick. I'll turn it down to simmer. The gravy is done. It just took less than 10 minutes. And we're going to spoon it up on a homemade buttermilk biscuit that I made earlier. And you can find that recipe down in the comments. Don't that look wonderful? That gravy, it's thick with that sausage on top of a biscuit. Can't get no better than that. I'm gonna taste it. It's a little hot right now. Ooh. It is so good. There's nothing better than homemade gravy. Down in the comments, let me know what your favorite gravy is to have on a biscuit. Also in the description, there will be a recipe and a link to my website to download a printable recipe. There is a link in the description to check out my Etsy store for Aunt Sandy's Kitchen merchandise. We've taken the Hawaiian banana bread out of the oven. It smells great. We left it in there for 60 minutes. We're letting it cool. Then we're going to put it on a cooling rack to cool a little bit more. When it's finished cooling, we'll slice it up and show some pictures. Welcome to Aunt Sandy's Kitchen, and today we are going to be making chicken pot pie casserole with cheddar bay biscuit mix. I love them biscuits at Red Lobster, so come along with me and I'm going to show you how to do it. Well, we're going to start with 1 stick of butter. Now isn't that little? I'm going to pour it. I've sprayed the pan. Make sure it's all covered on the bottom. Then we're going to add your chicken. This is, I boiled it, chopped it up. Chicken. When I made my chicken stock, this is 10 ounces of, this is mixed vegetables, but you can put carrots and peas in there if you want to. But this is just a vegetable mix. Spread that out. I've got salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder, and thyme. I'm going to spread this over there on my vegetables. Kind of like a dump cake, except it's a dump chicken pot pie. Then we're going to take our Red Lobster mix, and you put the little seasoning package in there. And I'm going to take 2 cups of milk and a 1/2 cup of cheddar cheese. And we're going to mix that up. I usually put, on top of my chicken pot pie, I usually put homemade biscuits on there. But I saw this recipe and I said, what the heck? I love them biscuits. So if this is a liquid topping you want to put on top of it, that's even better. So we're going to pour this on top of it. We're going to take a cup of chicken broth. That's the chicken broth I made, homemade yesterday. And 1 can of chicken cream of soup. I've preheated my oven to 350, and I'm doing this in a 9 by 13 pan. We're going to mix that. And we're going to pour this right on top. No mixing. Just pour right on top. And we're going to let it cook between 45 and 55 minutes, depending on your oven. I'll check it at 45 minutes. And then we'll show you the end product. With this chicken, I made chicken breast, and I made my own stock yesterday, but you can use rotisserie chicken or the stock in a box, whichever one you want. I've taken the casserole, chicken casserole out of the oven. It was in there about 55 minutes. And cut a piece, and look how good it looks. Nice and juicy and full of vegetables, golden brown. Let's taste it. I love those cheddar cheese biscuits. The topping on this is delicious, and I hope you try it. Something different. Check out my Etsy store for Aunt Sandy's Kitchen merchandise. We've got 2 pounds of ground chuck. I'm gonna break it up a little bit. And I'm gonna pour 3 eggs, beaten. Then I'm gonna take just a tad bit of butter, and this is a chopped up small onion. It's about a large cup. This is half a bell pepper, half a cup. We'll saute that a little bit. A little bit of salt. We're just going to get it sauteed enough to get tender. We're going to put a cup of crushed Ritz crackers. That's about a sleeve and a half. Half a cup of milk. 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. And these are all the herb, oregano, thyme, garlic powder, parsley, fresh parsley, but I only had the dry, salt, and a little black pepper. I got some cheese, grated up, freshly grated. I got my onions, bell pepper, I'm going to put in there. You just have to saute them just a little bit. Let's stir that around a little bit. Then we're going to put 1 cup of cheddar cheese. I may add more. We'll mix it up. Let's go in with the hands, which I've washed. We'll add a little bit more cheese in there. Probably another cup. Oh, what the heck. Just a little bit left there. No sense in staying there by yourself. Just fold it under, mix it real good. But we don't want to mix it too much. So I think we got it all mixed together. You don't want to over mix your meatloaf because it will make it tough. Okay, I have a 9 by 5 loaf pan, and mine's got a little lifter in there, but you don't have to have that. You can put it in anything. You can put it on a cookie sheet and just make it into a loaf shape. My oven's on 350. And now we're going to put her in there. We'll press it in there real good. We're gonna put it in a 350 oven for 30 minutes. Then we're gonna take it back out and put a glaze on it, and then cook it another 30 minutes, but we'll be back for that. So in the oven it goes. While my meatloaf is baking, I'm going to make the glaze for it. And it's a half a cup of ketchup, a half a cup of light brown sugar, but I've got dark, so it don't matter. Half a cup, 1 teaspoon of yellow mustard, and 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. 1 teaspoon. I'm going to mix that up. There you have it, our glaze. I've got the meatloaf out of the oven, and I'm going to put on the glaze that I mixed up. Okay, we're going to put it back into the 350 oven for 30 more minutes. We've gotten the meatloaf out of the oven and let it cool for about 5–10 minutes. Cut a piece. Don't that look delicious? It's got that tangy sauce on top, and it looks wonderful. Let's take a taste. It is delicious. Good, moist, tangy. You can taste all those herbs and bell pepper and onion. Hope you try this. You can't get no better than that. Don't that look delicious? In the description, there will be a recipe and a link to my website to download a printable recipe. The hash brown casserole is down, the recipe is down in the description. Let me know in the comments what's your favorite recipe. There is a link in the description to check out my Etsy store for Aunt Sandy's merchandise, as well as any affiliate links that I may have. But this is going to be homemade, and you know what's in it. I've taken an egg and a 1/4 cup of milk, and I've mixed it together. That's for the binding. Then I've taken a cup of flour, plain flour, and 1 sleeve of regular crackers, and I've crushed them, and I've put that in there. Plus I put my Aunt Sandy's seasoning. This has salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder, all together. And I put that in this too. And I've got 3 steaks, and I pounded them out just a little bit, but you don't have to, you don't want to. And I've got about 3 tablespoons of oil that I've got in my pan, and we're heating that up, and we'll start to bread them and then fry them. Okay, we're going to I'm just going to use one hand, keep the other hand clean. I'm going to dip it in the egg. Get it good and coated, and let it drain. And then we're going to put these cracker crumbs stuff on them. We want to get a good coating so it'll be crunchy. You want that crunch. Okay, put it in the oil. We're going to let it cook 3 to 4 minutes, probably 4 minutes on each side. We want it a good golden brown, but not burnt. we're gonna fixing to make the Sawmill gravy. I've got my country fried steaks over there with some foil on it to keep them a little warm. I've taken the drippings from frying those, and I added some bacon grease because I like bacon flavor in my Sawmill gravy. All I did was just cut up two pieces of bacon and just fried it and just used the grease from it. And it's warming up. And I've got 3/4 cup of plain flour. And making gravy is not exact. So, you know, I might not use all this flour, and I might. So we'll see. And I got 4 cups of milk. A bit more. It wasn't even 1/2 cup of oil drippings in here. I'm gonna sit here and brown it some. I guess I could just use all of it. Swirl it around. You whisk it until it gets as brown as you want, and start pouring in the milk slowly. And whisk it around. We'll add just a little bit of salt. Not much, and more pepper. I like a lot of pepper in mine. Whisk it. We just keep whisking it around until it gets as thick as you want it. See, it's starting to thicken up. We're going to cut her down. I think that's thick as I want it. See? If it gets too thick, you can always add a little bit of milk or water to it. I think I might add just a little bit of water. There we go. So it don't take very long to make sawmill gravy. You just have to keep stirring and pouring until you get it the consistency that you want it. We've got our country fried steak. Isn't that beautiful? We're going to put some gravy on it and have a taste test. Might be too hot. That is wonderful. Tender, crunchy, and the gravy is perfect. You got to try this, it's perfect. It is delicious. Let me know in the comments what's your favorite recipe. Also in the description, there will be a recipe and a link to my website to download a printable recipe. There is a link in the description to check out my Etsy store for Aunt Sandy's Kitchen merchandise. Now I'm going to put mine in a mold, but you can put it in a bowl or whatever you want. Let's get started. We're going to start with a cup of fresh cranberries, or you can use frozen. 1 can, 20-ounce can of crushed pineapple. And this is 2 cups of, well, it was about a cup, maybe a little over, of orange juice. I zested the orange and then I squeezed it till it got all the juice out of it, and then I filled it full of water the rest of the way, because you need 2 cups. This is 2 cups of orange water. We're going to pour that in there. And we're going to stir it around until it gets to the boiling state. I'm putting mine in a bundt pan, and I've lightly sprayed it with cooking spray. Don't put too much in there, just lightly spray it. But you can use a mold, you know, the Jell-O molds. We're going to stir this until it comes up to a boil. I got this recipe from the Pioneer Woman, and it looked great. So we're going to try it. It was so pretty when she had it in her plate displaying, and it's so easy. It's just a handful of ingredients, and I think you're going to like it. Okay, it's starting to come up to a boil. So we're going to cut the heat off. We'll scoot it off the eye. See, it's just not a big roaring boil, but just a boil. Put 2 cups of ice in with the mixture and stir it around till it cools off. Then we're going to put 3 envelopes of cranberry gelatin. And the zest of those 2 oranges. That's about maybe 3 tablespoons there. I'm going to mix all that up till all that gelatin dissolves. Smells so good. Now we're going to put it in our mold. And then we're going to put it in the refrigerator for at least 4 hours. I'm going to leave mine overnight so you can cook this ahead of time. It'll be a lot easier on you. All you have to do the next morning is, dip it in a little bit of warm water and then flip it and put it on a plate and decorate. And we'll do that later. So I hope you try this recipe. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite classic recipes are. There is a link in the description to check out my Etsy store for Aunt Sandy's kitchen merchandise, as well as any affiliate links that I have or have mentioned. Also in the description, there will be a recipe and a link to my website to download a printable recipe. It's a little different from mine. It's got crackers, cornbread, and white bread in it. I've already crushed the crackers in the sleeve. You just take it and just mash them in the sleeve. I already did that. And I made a pan of cornbread, and I've let it cool off, and then I've crumbled it. And we got that. Then I took 7 slices of white bread, like that, and I laid them on a cookie sheet, and I toasted them, and I turned them over and toasted the other side, so they're a little crunchy. Here, they're a little crunchy. It takes 2 cups of chopped celery and a whole onion that I've cleaned, and I got over here. I've sauteed it until it's soft, but it's not mushy. And I got that done. It's going to take 8 tablespoons of butter, which I've melted, 7 cups of stock, and 5 eggs. The recipe calls for 7 eggs, but the 2 of them go with the recipe for the cornbread, which you'll find in the description. So we're going to start. We got our crackers. That's our toast. Let's miss one. She's got this recipe from her grandmother, Paula. I thought I'd try it, see what it tastes like. You know, you like to try something sometimes. And I've got cornbread mixture. And I'm going to pour the stock in there so it can be getting that stuff soft. This is 8 tablespoons of butter. Butter. Let's mix that up so we can get mushy. You want it mushy. You want this bread to absorb all this liquid. So you're going to let it sit there for a couple of minutes. Absorb all this liquid. She puts 1 teaspoon of sage. Well, in my recipe, I like more sage. But Paula says her Aunt Peggy doesn't like sage. So we're just going to put a teaspoon in there. And she's going to put a tablespoon of poultry seasoning, which I like that too. Okay, we're going to spread that all over the place. Smells good. It's getting close to Thanksgiving, so you might want to try this. Do y'all have dressing or stuffing on Thanksgiving? Tell me in the comments which one y'all like. They're both good. And we'll put a little bit of pepper. Paula, she tastes hers before she puts eggs in. So I might do that. Let me get a taste. I think I'm gonna put just a tad salt. I put a tad in I use 2 tablespoons of butter to saute my onions and celery, and just a tad salt. So we're gonna put that in there. It's cooled off. You gotta let it cool off some. Boy, it looks good. It smells good too. I'm ready for Thanksgiving. Christmas. We can just skip Halloween. We never have any trick-or-treaters. Oh, that looks good. Let's see here. Another one. That's good. Now we're going to put 5 eggs in here. Whip them up. Hope it fits in my pan. It's supposed to. Okay, I'm going to put it in my pan. I'm going to spray it with some spray. so it won't stick. I got my oven preheated to 350. We're going to put this bad boy in there. I can pick it up. Oh, go. One more stir. Yeah, you don't want it dry. You want it just about this consistency. Wet. Because you don't want dry dressing. Okay, that's gonna just the right size, because it couldn't have taken any more. Good thing I ate a piece of that cornbread out of that thing. Okay, we're gonna put this in here. 350 oven for 45 to 60 minutes. And let it cook. I've taken the dressing out of the oven. We're going to taste it and see what it tastes like. It looks great. It smells good. Let's see. It's real good. So I hope you try this. For those who don't like a lot of sage in your dressing, this is the perfect, because it's got a little bit of sage taste, but not very much. But it's delicious. It's good. I would make it again. Let me know in the comments what's your favorite recipe. Also in the description, there will be a recipe and a link to my website to download a printable recipe. There is a link in the description to check out my Etsy store for Aunt Sandy's Kitchen merchandise. Thank you for watching my videos, and as always, God bless. So we're going to start with the first step, the crust. It's kind of like a cookie crust. It's going to be 1 cup of self-rising flour, 1 cup of melted butter, 2 tablespoons of powdered sugar, and I've already, and 1 cup of sliced almonds like this. I'm gonna mix it together. I've got a 13 by 9 pan, and I've sprayed it just a little bit with some cooking spray. I've set my oven to 375. We're going to bake this for about 20 minutes till it's lightly golden brown. It'll look like that. Just a regular dough. put it in here. You might think it's not enough crust, but it will be, because it's gonna rise up a little bit. And that's gonna look like that. It's all covered. And the oven's at 375. And we're gonna put it in the oven for 20 minutes. Hey folks, we're back. We've cooked the cookie crust. It's lightly browned, and it was in there for 15 minutes. I think I said 20, but it's 15. And the next layer is going to be an 8 ounce of cream cheese, softened, 2/3 cup of powdered sugar, you're going to need 6 ounces of Cool Whip, but you're going to need a total of 12 because you're going to put the topping on there. So we're going to eyeball it here. We're going to whip it up with a mixer. You want to make sure that cookie crust is cool. It took about 20-30 minutes for it to cool. But if you're in a rush, you can always put it in the freezer and the refrigerator. Help it cool down. We're making the pudding layer. You got 2 small boxes of pistachio pudding, instant. Two cups. That's half a cup. And this, it's like that, it thickens real fast. So I'm gonna pour that on there. It makes such a pretty dessert, especially when you cut it. You see all them layers. Now we're going to put the Cool Whip, the other half of that 12 ounces. You take the sliced almonds, scatter them all over the top. Now, for some people that don't like almonds, I have used pecans in the crust and on top before. And there you have it. Pistachio cream cheese dessert. It's going to be great, delicious, cool when it gets set in the refrigerator. And it'll be a couple hours, but $1 million pound cake. I got this recipe from Southern Living years ago. I used to get their magazine. I stopped getting the magazine and I started getting the cookbooks. And so I've got the cookbook that this recipe's in, but you can get it online. It doesn't take very many ingredients. You just have to put out the butter, let it set, room temperature. The eggs are room temperature. You need a big old mixer because you'll sit there and your arm will fall off with a hand mixer. Believe me, I've done it. So we're going to start off with a pound of butter. Nothing's better than a pound of butter. You want to whip this for a pretty good while until it turns fluffy. Got a butter on it. I'm going to start off slow, and then we're going to kick it up a notch. I've got my oven preheated to 300 degrees. This cake takes 1 hour and 40 minutes to cook. It's long and slow. I'm trying something new this time. A square bundt cake. I've never used it. I saw it on one of them pound cake sites, and I just had to have it. So we're going to try this one out, but you can use any bundt pan. It has to be large because this is a big cake. But we're going to try this one out and see how it does. And scrape it down. Okay, it's creamy. We're going to add the sugar and whip it some more. See how light and fluffy it's gone? Get texture. See how different it looks now? We'll scrape it down. Oh, it looks so good. Let's turn light and fluffy. I'm going to start adding the eggs one at a time. There's 6 eggs. Okay, we're going to add the milk and flour. You're going to alternate it. We're going to start with flour. There's 4 cups. A little milk. Two. Three. We'll pour all the milk in there because we're going to end it with flour. Okay. Last, we're going to put in a teaspoon of almond extract and a teaspoon of pure vanilla. Will be your last ingredient. We're going to let that mix. And if I can pick this big bowl up and put it in a pan, we'll make a cake. Oh, it smells so good. This new cake I didn't show you, but the middle comes out, making it easier for the cake. I've got all the batter in the pan. I've got it smoothed out where it's level. The first thing you do is grease and flour your pan real good so it won't stick. And then you put the batter in there. So we're going to put it in a 300-degree oven for an hour and 40 minutes. And check it, you know, when it gets close to time. Depends on how your oven does. We've got the cake out of the oven. It's cooling on the wire rack. My assistant took it out of the pan. He just ran a knife around the pan and flipped it out. And look at that cake. Don't it look good? Delicious. So I hope you try this cake, $1 Million Pound Cake from Southern Living. It is wonderful. Hey, down in the comments, let me know what kind of toppings you like with your pound cake. You like a frosting or fruit? And I have a recipe that is homemade whipped topping if you like that. The recipe for this cake will be down in the description, and a link will take you to a printable recipe. Check out my Etsy store for Aunt Sandy's merchandise. A couple of weeks ago, I had some peaches left, peach filling, from, I made a peach cobbler. And I've got this peaches left, so I'm gonna make some peach pies with Grand biscuits. I've already did a whole bunch of them, so you just get you some Grand biscuits and roll them out kind of thin, about 5 inches disc. Get your oven 375. This shouldn't take long. I like these pies because you bake them instead of fry them. I had cooked down the peaches with a little bit of sugar and cinnamon until they weren't liquidy. I'm through rolling the pies, making the pies. I was short one, so I improvised and put some guava jelly that my husband had that he likes in the last pie. So I'm fixing to put the topping on it, and it's melted butter and a little bit of cinnamon and sugar. Okay, we're going to put them, oven's 375. We're going to put them in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes. I got the peach pies out of the oven. They were in there for 15 minutes. And they look so good. They're crunchy. The filling is gorgeous. It's hot. But it tastes great. These are a great way to use up leftover filling that you have left to make a great dessert. They're crunchy, and they got that cinnamon sugar topping on top of it. You can't beat it. I hope you try these. They're delicious. Let me know in the comments what's your favorite recipe. Also in the description, there will be a recipe and a link to my website to download a printable recipe. There is a link in the description to check out my Etsy store for Aunt Sandy's Kitchen merchandise. Thank you always for watching my videos, and God bless.